Obviously, we're here for the DVD release of Quantum of Solace. Traditionally, these are kind of a time for reflection. Looking back on the whole, how would you sum up the whole Quantum of Solace experience for you?
It was just a really great experience. I'm like looking back, I'm really glad I made the movie. Like at the time when I decided that I wanted to direct it, I thought, oh, maybe it's complete madness. But now looking back, I'm really pleased that I did it.
What stuff are you most proud of about the movie?
I'm just really happy with how the whole movie sort of shaped up and came together, and there's several like sort of big action pieces, like the whole Sienna part, when Bond chases the assassin. I like that entire sequence, and several, like the opera sequence I really enjoy as well. So there's several things in the film I just really love, and most of the locations I'm just really pleased with.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess initially when it was kind of announced that you'd be directing the film, you don't have a background in kind of action movies. What do you think you kind of brought to the party that kind of no one else could have brought?
I feel like I wanted to sort of what I imagined. I wanted to make the Bond film I always wanted to go and see, and include sort of the elements of the Bond films I always loved, sort of the sort of like 60s elements. So I included them in design or clothing and things like that. And then at the same time, they'll make a very modern Bond, and sort of that was sort of my approach. And it was very important for me that the locations really are in Bond films characters themselves, that they're really unique and spectacular. And I'm really pleased with the locations we find, from like Chile to Panama, Austria.
I mean, the film looks amazing, definitely. I mean, I think that's the thing that kind of all the critics kind of singled out, that they kind of loved the kind of the production design and the cinematography. I guess that was obviously forefront in your mind.
Yeah, no, that was a very important key. At the same time, I felt like, at the end of the last movie, we sort of like he lost Vesper, the love of his life. That in this one, Bond, I felt like sort of has to close the circle. So it was a little darker, a little more intense, a little more violent maybe. But at the same time, I think that's where Bond was. I think it wasn't the right time for Quantum of Solace to be jokey and funny, and there was an underneath humor, but I felt that it wouldn't reflect where Bond was or the time we live in right now. So I think if this becomes a trilogy, then I think maybe it would be interesting to reintroduce some humor in the next one.
Yeah, well, that's obviously something I was going to ask you. I mean, you've kind of, I guess, from everything I've read, you've said, you're not going to have anything else. Kind of, this is your Bond, and you're kind of done with it now. Is that kind of how you see the future? Obviously, but nonetheless, you play an integral part in the kind of the reinvention of the franchise. Is that how you see the franchise going then? Back to the more kind of traditional, kind of jokey, kind of humour elements?
I think now, as Bond's character sort of closed that storyline with Vesper, I think it would be interesting to bring a little bit more humor back, and to bring in a little that he can sleep with a few more girls, and to bring in those elements, I think would be really interesting.
Also, obviously, we're here for the DVD. Why should people get excited about the DVD? What are the extra kind of stuff that we can look forward to?
What is always exciting about a DVD, that you watch a movie and think, oh, how did they do that? And suddenly you can see the DVD, and you can sort of the magic of movie making is like taken away, and you can sort of see how some of these stunts and how some of these action sequences have actually been realized and how they actually were done. And I think that's always interesting for an audience to see, and that's sort of what will be revealed on the DVD.
Right. Also, as well, I mean, the film had quite a kind of a pared down kind of approach. I mean, how much extra kind of footage did you shoot? I mean, and will we get to see more of that on the DVD? Or
I didn't really shoot much extra footage.
Oh, did you not? Okay.
No, there was just one scene, and a very short one, and everything else is really in the movie.
Okay. Also, I'd like to ask you about World War Z, if I may. I know that's obviously something you're kind of doing. I mean, can you tell me a bit about that?
It's basically, at this point, it's still development. Yeah, I'm still, working on the script, and I still don't know if it's going to be my next movie. It's a book I really liked, and I think it's a subject matter which I think is interesting to turn into a movie. So, but I'm still working on it. I'm still not sure when it will go in production, or if it will. I
mean, do audiences still find slow zombies scary?
Sorry?
Do audiences still find slow zombies scary?
Yeah. I think it's just a fascinating world. I like some of these early zombie movies, and I think it's an interesting world to explore. And especially with this book, it's not like a straightforward genre piece. Sort of, it's more of like a hybrid type of film, which I think has interesting elements to it.